Part 46. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yun Zhongmu Shui. Chapter 451. The old man is the lord of the Tianlong Galaxy Palace. He is extremely confident when he speaks at this moment. Beside him, a group of elders also smile proudly. He knows the genius in his own palace. Long Xing's strength is definitely not as simple as it has been shown before. It will exceed everyone's imagination. This Lu Yu is definitely not an opponent. On the other side, the lord of the palace also frowned and looked at the sky. This is too coincidental. She looked helpless. How could they meet directly in the first round? The other elders also looked uncertain, and finally it was Elder Zhang who spoke. If you ask me, this Long Xing is not Lu Yu's opponent at first glance. Old Zhang, why are you so confident? Elder Sun looked puzzled. With his big body and silly face, it would be easy for Lu Yu to kill him. This. Elder Sun nodded to this. I think so too. Ha ha ha, you old man finally stopped contradicting me. Get lost. The two of them started arguing again. In the field, Lu Yu looked at Long Xing with a smile. Just now, he gave Long Xing a cordial greeting. Now, Long Xing is on the verge of a rage. Tell me, how do you want to fight? He looked at Lu Yu, and Qi Yun and Tong Ling, who were with Lu Yu. With his eyes, it was not difficult to see. The two behind Lu Yu were the leaders of the two galaxies, and their strength was the 9th level of Tongxian. Qi Yun and Tong Ling looked at Lu Yu after hearing this. The meaning was very clear. The three of us will go together and kill him. However, Lu Yu waved his hand. No, Lu Yu, disdain this. How can we bully others by relying on our numbers? Lu Yu said with a righteous face. Qiyun and Tong Ling were surprised when they heard this, and they turned their heads to look at Lu Yu. Did they misjudge this guy before? This guy is quite a martial artist. Even Long Xing didn't expect Lu Yu to be like this, and there was a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Okay, you kid. However, Long Xing hadn't finished speaking yet, and Lu Yu's next sentence made him speechless. Lu, don't bully people, so brothers, kill him. Chapter 0345. You are not a human, you get stronger when you get beaten. Kill him. As he said that, a red electric gun appeared in Lu Yu's hand, and he looked at Long Xing with a murderous look. This made everyone stunned on the spot. No, didn't you just say that you don't bully people? Why do you want to kill others now? Qiyun and Tong Ling were both confused. Seeing this, Lu Yu couldn't help but slap his forehead. With your IQ, my Ergu is smarter than you. Ergu. The two were stunned again. Mingzi burst into laughter. Ergu is a wolf raised by Lu Yu. I'm so humming. The two were speechless for a moment, and their eyes were all looking at Lu Yu. What on earth should we do? Seeing this, Lu Yu's momentum, which he had accumulated with great difficulty, was instantly broken. I said I won't bully people, but look at this Long Xing, is he a human? He is not a human, Lu Yu pointed at Long Xing and said. Look at the scales on his face, his palms, his green eyes, how can he be a human? He is not a human. Lu Yu had a look of regret. Qiyun and Tong Ling suddenly realized it when they heard this. So that's it, he is not a human. Yes, he is indeed not a human. Long Xing, you. His fists were clenched tightly, and his eyes were full of bloodshot. Infuriating. It was really infuriating. This was a roundabout way of scolding himself for not being a human. Although I am not a person, what do you mean by nitpicking? I can't stand it. In an instant, Long Xing's clothes exploded, and his muscles were like carved gold and stone, shining in the sun. Especially the layer of scales covering his body, reflecting colorful light. However, Before Long Xing could show off for 2 seconds, Lu Yu immediately covered Ming 11's eyes. You are really not a human being in broad daylight, bare your chest and abdomen, and don't wear clothes. You are shameless. Lu Yu had a contemptuous expression on his face. And the women in the team behind him also screamed and covered their eyes. Long Xing's smile froze on his face, and it turned red to the root of his neck. In the past, he would attract a look of horror when he did this. Why today? I will kill you. Long Xing couldn't help it at all. He roared and came towards Lu Yu. Seeing this, Lu Yu laughed immediately. Brothers! Go! Kill him! Lu Yu waved his hand, and the next moment Qi Yun and Tong Ling rushed out. How could Qi Yun and Tong Ling be the opponents of the furious Long Xing? The two went up, and only fought 2 moves with Long Xing, and were beaten to spit blood and flew out. Get out of here! Long Xing roared, his eyes turned blood red, staring at Lu Yu. Lu Yu sighed helplessly and patted Ming 11's shoulder. You can let go. I'm afraid. Ming 11 grabbed Lu Yu's arm with a frightened face. Lu Yu pulled her hand away with a serious face. Don't worry, I'll deal with this guy right away. After the words fell, Lu Yu looked at Long Xing. You are such a low-class guy. Lu Yu looked Long Xing up and down with a look of disdain. Long Xing was furious to the extreme. He stared at Lu Yu and threw a punch without any hesitation. At the moment he threw this punch, a layer of black scales instantly covered his fist. At the same time, bone spurs actually grew on his fist. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 452. Look, he's not a human. Lu Yu shook his head and raised his hand to punch him, not retreating or avoiding at all. Bang! The 2 fists collided, and the next moment, a terrifying wave spread. Swoosh! Long Xing flew backwards in an instant, spitting out blood. There was blood all over his fist, his bone spurs were broken, and his scales disappeared. Bang! After rolling on the ground for more than 10 times, Long Xing crashed into a boulder before stopping. This scene shocked everyone. Long Xing was actually defeated by Lu Yu. Did he fall into a disadvantage in just the first round of fighting? I don't know how many people were shocked. Outside, everyone who saw the scene had their eyes drop to the ground. What's going on? Long Xing fell into a disadvantage in the first move. At first, I thought this guy was just relying on his eloquence. Something is wrong. I don't know how many people were shocked. In the waiting area, many strong men were also shocked. Long Xing, who ranked in the top 10, actually lost to Lu Yu in the first move. How is this possible? The face of the palace master of the Tianlong system instantly became extremely ugly. On the contrary, everyone in the distant Milky Way laughed. Palace master, this. An elder of the Tianlong system spoke. Hearing this, the old man snorted coldly. Are you so impatient? You know what Long Xing's trump card is. The palace master is right. We should worry too much. Many elders were relieved immediately. At the scene, Lu Yu looked at Long Xing with a look of surprise. Is your strength only this? Lu Yu looked puzzled. He remembered that the palace master seemed to have told him that this guy's bloodline was not simple. However, the strength felt from that punch just now was too weak, right? On the ground, Long Xing climbed up again. His expression was distorted, and a cruel smile appeared on his face. How strong am I? Just keep trying, and you'll know. After he finished speaking, Long Xing punched Lu Yu again. Bang! The next moment, Lu Yu knocked Long Xing out again. But this time, Lu Yu's expression was a little surprised. The power of Long Xing's punch seems to have become stronger. At least 30% stronger. Lu Yu was surprised. In the distance, Long Xing slowly climbed up again. Bone-cracking sounds broke out all over his body. His figure was actually raised out of thin air. The black scales turned bright red, as if blood was flowing. "Keep going." Long Xing licked the blood on his lips and smiled wantonly. The aura of his whole body was actually rising again. This surprised Lu Yu. This guy's blood is a bit fierce. Others get weaker and weaker when they are beaten. This guy gets stronger when he is beaten. Can you believe it? This is the first time Lu Yu has seen such a physique. Qiyun came to Lu Yu at some point and whispered, "Lu Yu, Long Xing's physique is very strange. As long as the damage does not exceed a certain range, this guy's strength will continue to grow." Qiyun's words made Lu Yu look at Long Xing with interest. Is there such a physique? No wonder this guy is ranked so high. After all, fighting with others, the more you fight, the stronger you get. Who can stand it? You will be exhausted to death. You are weak and he is strong. In the outside world, everyone saw the scene and shook their heads. Lu Yu is going to lose. Long Xing's bloodline is very strange. Indeed, with this bloodline, Long Xing can be said to be invincible. The outcome is determined. I don't know how many people shook their heads. They were a little surprised when they saw Lu Yu could punch Long Xing away, but now, it's meaningless. If Long Xing uses his own bloodline, then Lu Yu can't win. He is stronger than Long Xing, but his bloodline can't compete. If the fight continues, Long Xing's strength will soon surpass his. The face of the Tianlong Palace master showed a proud smile. This guy is dead. Being watched by everyone, Lu Yu smiled at the scene. Getting stronger after being beaten? Are you sucking blood here? Sorry, I killed you in one move, how can you suck? With a slight smile, a red electric gun appeared in Lu Yu's hand. Chapter 0346 A Shot Appointment, are you ready? Lu Yu held the red electric gun in his hand and looked at Long Xing with a little smile. Your bloodline is really powerful. Humph, that's natural, how can you compare? Long Xing sneered, quite disdainful. In fact, his bloodline is a product of the mutation of his own bloodline. Not only is the ability to resist attacks stronger, the key is that it can absorb the opponent's power when he attacks and transform it into himself. In this way, as long as the opponent's power does not exceed his own tolerance limit, he will be exhausted to death sooner or later. And it would be even more difficult to kill him with one strike. I am not just strong in blood, my own strength is not weak either. Unless I meet those perverts who rank in the top few, Long Xing is sure to enter the top 5 in this galaxy group competition. Looking at the confident smile on Long Xing's face, Lu Yu couldn't help but shake his head. It's true that if you don't commit suicide, you won't die. Long Xing, do you dare to take a shot from me? If you can take a shot, I, Lu Yu, will be captured today and will be slaughtered by you. Lu Yu said with a smile on his face. When the others heard this, they were instantly horrified. What does Lu Yu's words mean? One shot, if there is no victory or defeat, let Long Xing slaughter you. Lu Yu. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 453. Qiyun and Tongling couldn't help but become anxious. Even Mingzi looked nervous. Lu Yu, if we really can't beat him, let's just run away. There's no need to say harsh words. Lu Yu. He rubbed Mingzi's face hard and snorted coldly. Why don't you believe me so much? I have always believed in you. You will definitely not be beaten to death by this stupid guy. Ming 11's serious expression made Lu Yu smile. Co-author, is your belief in me only limited to not being beaten to death? No more love. Yakingja. In the distance, Long Xing was stunned when he heard Lu Yu's words. Are you sure? His eyes were fixed on Lu Yu. Of course Lu Yu nodded. Yes, just one shot. If you can still stand and talk to me after a shot, I, Lu Yu, will be slaughtered. Everyone here, including the Sky City watching the battle, will testify to this. As he spoke, Lu Yu pointed his finger to the sky. City in the sky. Everyone was shocked by Lu Yu's words. Is this guy crazy? One shot determines the outcome. Either absolute confidence, or absolute NT. It's rare to see such a confident young man, ha ha ha. I don't know how many people are talking about it, and most human rights have been treated as a joke. Defeating Long Xing with one shot is not impossible, I can only say it is too difficult. If you can do this, you can't do it without the currently recognized top 3. Others, at most, only severely damaged Long Xing. In the waiting area, everyone in the Tianlong department laughed. This kid really doesn't know how to write the word death. It's a pity that a genius who can be called a genius finally appeared in the Milky Way, and he is about to die again. What a pity. Everyone was talking and laughing, looking into the distance. Not only them, but also the strong men of many other galaxies are looking towards the direction of the galaxy where they are waiting for the battle. The faces of the palace master and the elders showed no signs of change. Master of the palace, this boy. No need to say more, he has his own plans, the palace master said calmly. Lu Yu's words had already been spoken, and he and others could not interfere. The only one who can see now is Lu Yu himself. As for Lu Yu, the master of the palace always felt that there was something mysterious about him. The similar bloodline of the God-given clan doesn't seem to be very similar. But no matter what, the palace master has great confidence in Lu Yu. No reason. Because only this kind of rampant Lu Yu is the real him. It was this kind of self-confidence that put a powerful Tai realm man to shame, which gave the palace master his confidence. Secret realm. Long Xing's face was filled with a sneer. Okay, you said this yourself. I'll take a shot from you. If you don't kill me, then I will kill you. Long Xing narrowed his eyes tightly. Lu Yu smiled and nodded. It's easy to talk about. Are you ready for someone to collect the body for you? The body may be a little broken. Lu Yu pointed behind him. These words made Long Xing instantly turn pale. Use whatever tricks you have, no need to argue with me here. Long Xing was extremely annoyed. This guy's words always made him unable to control his emotions. He deserved a beating. Seeing this, Lu Yu sighed helplessly. Hey, if we try hard, we can get a whole body together, but if you don't want it, forget it. After finishing his words, Lu Yu raised his gun and aimed at Long Xing. Are you ready? Come. Long Xing burst out roaring, his scales grew crazily all over his body, and his eyes were extremely scarlet. It can be said that at this moment, his defense was raised to the extreme. Everyone held their breath and looked at Lu Yu. At this moment, all we have to do is wait for Lu Yu to take action. Lu Yu stood there, keeping his posture motionless. After a while, he put down his gun and scratched the back of his hand. Sorry, my hands were itchy just now, come again. You. Long Xing almost spit out a mouthful of old blood, but he had to raise his blood again. Are you ready? Lu Yu raised his gun again and stared at the dragon with his eyes like lightning. Everyone's eyes looked at Lu Yu again. Just not ready. This time, you should be ready, right? After 5 minutes passed, Lu Yu yawned. Sorry, I didn't sleep well last night. Mingzi, bring me my energy drink. Lu Yu put down the red electric gun and rubbed his eyes. All around, everyone's expressions were a little broken. You. Long Xing was even more crazy. Are you humming coming or not? My mother? My mother isn't coming. Lu Yu had a puzzled expression on his face. Hearing this, the veins on Long Xing's forehead jumped sharply. What I'm saying is, are you going to make a move? Come on, I'll finish the drink first. As he spoke, Lu Yu poured a drink into his mouth. After a while, Lu Yu took out the red electric gun again. It's okay now, it's okay, it's okay. Are you ready? When Lu Yu said these words, the aura in his body rose, quickly reaching a terrifying level. I really want to take action. When others saw this, they immediately held their breath. This time, I really want to take action. Long Xing did not dare to be careless, and immediately raised his blood again, looking at Lu Yu with a solemn expression. I saw Lu Yu dressed in white, holding a red electric gun, with golden light blooming in his eyes, which was extremely mysterious. Just when everyone thought Lu Yu was going to take out his gun, at the next moment, he dropped the red electric gun. Forget it, it's not good to use a gun. I want to use my fists. The energy and blood that Long Xing seen finally lifted up suddenly dropped again. His face turned red and he wanted to kill Lu Yu directly. Others were even more devastated. You guy, what on earth are you playing at? Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 454. At this moment, Lu Yu looked puzzled. I said no guns, take my punch. As soon as the words fell, Lu Yu punched towards Long Xing. Long Xing hurriedly tried to raise his blood and qi to defend himself, but he found that he had been fooled by Lu Yu many times before, and now his blood and qi were weak. When Long Xing was anxious, Lu Yu's punch had already hit him. Chapter 03473. And exhausted, such a deep routine. When Long Xing was anxious, Lu Yu's punch had already hit him. You cheated me. Long Xing's eyes were wide open, and he was about to resist immediately. But Lu Yu's punch was an unreserved punch. How could Long Xing, who was weak in blood and qi, block it? Just at the moment when the two fought, the bone-breaking sound that made people's scalps numb was heard instantly. Long Xing's arms exploded into blood flowers, and Lu Yu's punch landed on his chest. Boom! A dull sound rang out, and a big hole was instantly punched in Long Xing's chest by Lu Yu. Looking at the big hole in his chest that was transparent from front to back, Long Xing looked at Lu Yu with bloodshot eyes. 1 effort, 2 declines, 3 exhaustion. You have such a deep calculation, ha ha ha. Long Xing laughed miserably, and the next moment, the star source power in Lu Yu's fist burst out. Boom! Long Xing's burly body turned into blood flowers the next moment. All around, a bloody haze. Before that, Lu Yu had already withdrawn and retreated. This scene was seen by everyone. Did Lu Yu kill Long Xing? This was shocking. What was even more shocking was the words Long Xing said before he died. 1 effort, 2 declines, 3 exhaustion. Thinking of Lu Yu's actions just now, everyone looked at Lu Yu with a horrified look. This is too scary. Misleading Long Xing 3 times in a row, making him consume his blood. At the last moment, a sudden attack. Long Xing had no time to raise his weakened blood and qi, and was killed by a single blow. During the whole process, what was terrifying was not Lu Yu's strength, but his scheming. Yes, it was scheming. Terrible. It's so terrible. I finally understand why Lu Yu agreed with Long Xing to make only 1 move. Why? You are stupid. If they agreed to make 1 move, Long Xing can't take the initiative to attack, and Lu Yu can use a trick to consume his blood and qi. Some people nearby couldn't help but talk about it. One of the smarter ones had already realized something. As soon as he said this, everyone looked at Lu Yu in shock. Even Qiyun and others were surprised. Lu Yu, so smart. Mingzi cheered for Lu Yu. Lu Yu. Super awesome. Even Bai Mo was shocked. Good guy. It turns out that Lu Yu is not only strong in strength, but also so scheming. No wonder I was played like this by him. Sky City. Everyone saw everything on the screen, their eyes were dull. This, unbelievable. God. He actually has this method to kill Long Xing. One effort, then weakness, then exhaustion, Long Xing was killed by a plan. This boy is so cunning. I'm afraid this plan was already planned when he said he would only use one move. Countless strong men were amazed. Even they never expected that Lu Yu would kill Long Xing in this way. Those who originally thought that Lu Yu would lose were even more swollen in the face. This boy may not be as strong as Long Xing, but his scheming is really rare among his peers. Not simple, not simple, I'm ashamed to see it. Interesting, I feel that this year's local Galaxy Group competition is a little different. Many strong men talked about it, some said that Lu Yu was insidious and vicious, and some said that he was scheming. But no matter what, Lu Yu did kill Long Xing. In the waiting area, the strong men of the Tianlong Galaxy roared. No. This is impossible. He has violated the rules. Damn it, how could this happen? Long Xing is dead, this matter will not be let go so easily. All the Tianlong system strong men were furious. It was so aggrieved, it was really too aggrieved. It was okay for the genius of his own galaxy to be killed directly, but what about this? This was being calculated to death alive. This is unfair, I want to appeal. The Galaxy Palace Lord of the Tianlong Galaxy roared even more. As soon as he finished speaking, a middle-aged man appeared. Is there any problem within the rules of the game? His eyes were cold, and he calmed down the Tianlong Palace Lord in an instant. However, he still didn't want to give up. My Lord Galaxy Envoy, is this Lu Yu too sinister and vicious to be so scheming, he said angrily. This attracted everyone's attention. On the other side of the Milky Way, the Palace Lord and even a group of elders also looked over. The Palace Master came over and bowed slightly to the middle-aged man. Master Galaxy Envoy, Lu Yu is acting within the rules, there is nothing wrong with that, right? As she said that, she glanced at the Palace Master Tianlong. This made the Palace Master Tianlong look even uglier, and just as he was about to speak, the middle-aged man waved his hand. Actions within the rules, no one has the right to interfere. If there is any disruption of order again, don't blame me for being ruthless. He snorted coldly, and the Tianlong Mansion Master couldn't help but turn pale, and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. This was a warning from the Galaxy Envoy. After all, unwarranted doubts are a challenge to the authority of the Galaxy Group. This scene was seen by the strong men of other galaxies, and they felt their hearts instantly chilled. How can this be played? This guy named Lu Yu is a scheming boy. And from the current point of view, this guy's own strength is not weak. In addition to such scheming. Not good. I don't know how many strong men in the galaxy suddenly panicked. The Mansion Master and a group of elders were all smiling. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 455. This boy did not disappoint me. Elder son was relieved and became more determined to marry his granddaughter. Elder Zhang looked at elder son and snorted coldly. Old guy, let me tell you. Stop talking nonsense, let's go out and practice alone. Elder son's temper got angry at that time. Even though Elder Zhang was at a lower level than him, he actually followed him out. The master of the palace stood there, looking at Lu Yu in the secret realm, with a smile on his face. Now, it should be safe for Lu Yu to enter the top 10. Maybe, we can still enter the top 5. Everything is unknown. Secret realm. Lu Yu looked at the eyes of everyone around him with a somewhat surprised expression. This look, what the hell? Do I look so scary? Lu Yu, you are so awesome. Long Scene was tricked to death by you. Dark death? I won't be happy if you say this. Where is the yin death? It was obviously me who punched him to death based on my strength. Lu Yu looked indifferent. When the others heard this, they were immediately speechless. Is Long Scene killed by your forceful trick? Lu Yu, have you already had this plan? In the end, Tong Ling couldn't help but speak out. There's no way, he wants to learn too. When Lu Yu heard this, his expression became more confused. What's the plan? It's just Yin Shi Long Scene. With that said, Tong Ling explained Lu Yu's plan. After Lu Yu heard this, he immediately laughed. I said I really didn't have any tricks on him. Do you believe me? Lu Yu blinked his eyes. Everyone, I believe you. Chapter 0348 Changle, who was being hunted, felt great. Believe him. This is not called a routine. What is a routine? How terrible. Seeing everyone's expressions of disbelief, Lu Yu sighed. Don't believe me. I swear, I really didn't mean it before. Several times, it was just a coincidence. Who would have thought that this guy Long Scene would be so serious? It's not my fault. Lu Yu became calm again. He looked at the group of geniuses led by Long Scene with a smile on his face. Brothers, it's time to take action. Remember, there are no survivors. As soon as the words fell, Qiyun and Tong Ling rushed out instantly. Long Scene is dead, how can these Tianlong geniuses he brought survive? With Qiyun and Tong Ling present, the scene was almost a one-sided massacre. In just a moment, the entire Tianlong system was wiped out. Not even a chance to surrender. In the Sky City, everyone who saw the scene was filled with emotion. The competition in this galaxy group is so bloody. Once one party falls into a disadvantage, there is almost no chance of survival. For example, the death of so many Tianlong geniuses this time at least means that in the next 1,000 years, there will be a period of power vacuum in the Tianlong system. In the waiting area, many strong men from the Tianlong system were roaring with grief and anger. But, they can't change this. If they dare to disrupt order, they will be punished. The palace master breathed a sigh of relief when he saw this scene. At this moment, suddenly the surrounding elders burst into exclamations. Master, look quickly. Elder Sun pointed his finger at the sky. I saw a large light spot suddenly appearing in the sky, marking the location of Lu Yu and others. At a glance, the number is at least dozens. This. The palace master instantly looked at the projection next to him. Each projection represents a participating galaxy. After a short search, the palace master quickly found what he was paying attention to. In the middle of the scene, the two parties merged together, and they were actually chasing the same person. This scene was also noticed by the strong men in the entire Sky City. Hey, what is going on? The geniuses of Daoga Galaxy and Hanling Galaxy are jointly hunting down Fairy Changle. It's interesting. 2 of the top 10 galaxies have joined forces to hunt down Fairy Changle. What does this mean? Ha ha ha, you were just looking at Lu Yu, didn't you notice? Daoga Galaxy and Hanling Galaxy seem to have united together to massacre other galaxies. When the number of people reaches the target, all people in this galaxy can enter the second round. Really? Everyone was shocked. This kind of thing has not happened before in local galaxy group competitions. There are powerful galaxies that join forces to try to kill the geniuses of other galaxies, and eventually send all the people in this galaxy to the second round. In the second round of battle, you will definitely meet the genius of your own galaxy. Once you encounter one, you will give in. In this way, you can get a relatively high ranking. And now, someone is obviously making such plans again. At this moment, Fairy Changle is being hunted, and there is suddenly only the last person left in the Fairy Galaxy. If she is obliterated, then the entire Andromeda Galaxy will be eliminated. In the waiting area, there were already people smiling. Daogu and Hanling, two powerful men from the two galaxies, gathered together with smiles on their faces. Apart from anything else, at least in the current secret realm, the two major galaxies united are already considered the strongest force. After all, the rankings of the two major galaxies are both in the top 10. If they join forces, even the geniuses of the top 5 galaxies may not dare to come to seek trouble. With the two galaxies like this, the faces of the strong men in other galaxies are quite ugly. They joined forces like this, which can be said to have directly violated the rules of the game. How can we fight like this? There is no way to fight. In the Andromeda Galaxy, many women have already looked extremely gloomy. If Chang'e also died, then my trip to the Andromeda Galaxy would be in vain. At this moment, someone suddenly spoke. Wait, Chang'e seems to have changed the direction of escape. Someone spoke, and everyone looked at the projection in the sky. Chang'e really changed a direction and went to other places. Take another look at the distribution map of the contestants. The direction of Chang'e Fairy's escape is exactly the direction where Lu Yu is. Secret Realm. Lu Yu is smiling and enjoying Mingzi's personal service at this moment. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 456. Great. Really great. Lu Yu had made all the plans. There are more than 30 people here now, and he will carry them all into the second round. There are 64 people in the second round. When the time comes, as long as his people meet him, he will just admit defeat. Isn't this great? Of course, the premise is that the competition parties in this galaxy group do not interfere in the middle. After all, his behavior is a bit unfair. He forced people who were not qualified to enter the second round to enter the second round. Of course, this is not his concern. If they don't let him, then don't let him. With his own strength, the worst that can happen is that he will throw 2 more punches. Lu Yu's mood is quite good. It's a pity that there is no way to see how many people are in the secret realm, and I can't see the opponent's position. Lu Yu smacked his lips. If he could do this, he could take people directly over and kill them all. There is no need to look for them here. It's really boring. Qiyun and Tongling followed Lu Yu. At this moment, the two of them wanted to worship Lu Yu. This big brother is so awesome. He is strong and has a lot of tricks. If we follow him, we, the younger brothers, may be able to enter the second round. If we enter the second round, even if we are eliminated in the first round, we can still get a lot of rewards. That's enough. Therefore, Qiyun and Tongling are treating Lu Yu like a big boss now. Qiyun even took out a small sedan from his body. As soon as the sedan was released, it could fly in the air. Lu Yu lay on it, and Mingzi massaged him next to him. This life is so boring. If there is someone, just call me. Lu Yu said, just when he was about to take a nap. Suddenly, a voice rushed towards him frantically. Lu Yu just opened his eyes, and the next moment he was knocked over. Who the hell is that? Lu Yu said in the smoke. He was 100% sure that the person who hit him was definitely a person. That feeling was correct. And this person is still on top of him. Lu Yu stretched out his hand and was about to push this guy away. But the moment Lu Yu reached out and touched his body, he immediately realized that something was wrong. This feel, this size, this temperature. Something is wrong. Lu Yu hesitated for a moment, waved his hand, and the smoke and dust around him dispersed. A beautiful woman was lying on Lu Yu among the wooden frames of the sedan chair scattered on the ground. And Lu Yu's hand was on her chest. Am I dreaming? Lu Yu was puzzled and pinched her hard. The next moment, the woman opened her eyes. Lu Yu, Sigma, oh. Oh. Chapter 0349 I'm going to blackmail you today. Lu Yu is actually this kind of person. Lu Yu, Sigma, oh. Oh. Hello, beautiful girl. Lu Yu's smile was polite but awkward. For some reason, he always felt that the girl lying on him looked a little familiar. Fairy Changle still looked a little confused, but after hearing what Lu Yu said, she quickly reacted. Especially, Lu Yu's hands that were still placed on a certain part. You. It's none of my business. You came up on your own. Lu Yu said. In fact, his hands still did not move at all. What does it have to do with me? I was sleeping, you bumped into me on your own, I didn't blackmail you, I have a conscience, okay. Others beside him were also dumbfounded. What's going on? Is this Fairy Changle? Kiun was the first to react, his eyes were a little unbelievable. After a closer look, Kiun instantly confirmed his thoughts. This is really true. Fairy Changle. Others were also shocked. Most of the people present knew Fairy Changle. After all, as one of the top 10 beauties in this galaxy group, she was quite famous. And the Andromeda system is famous for producing many beauties. At this moment, everyone was surprised. Lu Yu even thought of something instantly. Good guy. Isn't this the girl I saw this morning? You are the one, right? Lu Yu smiled. Fairy, is it really okay for you to press on me like this? Lu Yu pinched her hard again. You. The next moment, Changle's face turned red, and she was about to scold Lu Yu, but she soon thought of something. Go. As soon as the voice fell, Changle stood up and was about to leave. Lu Yu was not happy. You made me so embarrassed before, and now you bump into me, and you will bump my sedan chair into nothing. Just leave? Wait a minute. Lu Yu grabbed her arm directly. Changle didn't notice it for a moment and rushed forward. The next moment, the moon-white gauze dress was torn, and the lotus-like arm was instantly exposed. Hiss. Lu Yu's expression instantly became serious, and he looked carefully, and finally sighed. This hand is so white. What are you going to do? Changle was angry. Seeing this, Lu Yu retracted his gaze and his expression was indifferent. What I do is what you want to do. You hit me for no reason. I can tell you that I have serious internal injuries. Especially the sedan chair of mine. Do you know how much it is worth? How much? Changle asked with a frown. 100,000 star cores, Lu Yu said casually, not knowing how many zeros were behind it. 100,000, Changle thought hard and said in disbelief. Just this sedan, 100,000 star cores. Yes, 100,000 star cores. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 457. Lu Yu hugged his shoulders. Chang Li's face turned ugly instantly. Impossible, how can this sedan be worth so much money? Why is it not worth it? The value of the sedan does not lie in its own value, but in its added value, which has a very important meaning. Lu Yu said confidently. This girl has such a bad attitude, I have to blackmail her today. Seeing this, Chang Li was silent for a moment. Has anyone died in your family? You scolded me, Lu Yu was furious. No, no one has passed away in your family. Why does this sedan have such a high added value? Changle blinked. Lu Yu immediately took a deep breath and couldn't help but take 2 steps back. He originally thought that he was powerful enough to criticize people, but now he never expected it. This Chang Li in front of me also has a skill. You're fine. Lu Yu looked at Chang Li seriously. Changle sneered. Do you still want 100,000 star cores now? Want? I won't give it. After saying that, Changle turned around and left. Lu Yu took her arm again. This time, the clothes were torn again. Changle. Lu Yu. Everyone. The quality of your clothes is too bad. Lu Yu looked serious. Changle stared at Lu Yu fiercely. Are you sure you won't let me go? You can't leave without taking the money. Oh. I will blackmail you today. It's useless for anyone to come. Lu Yu looked proud. Changle also laughed when he saw this. What if someone kills me? Before you pay back the money, you can only let me kill you. Okay, then I won't pay back the money. After saying that, Changle sat down on the ground and refused to leave. Lu Yu. There's something wrong with this girl. Lu Yu's expression became alarmed and uncertain. Damn it, she doesn't want to be a deadbeat, does she? Ahem, actually if you can't afford it, you can pay it back in another way. You don't have to pay it back, Lu Yu said calmly. Seeing this, Chang Le smiled as brightly as a flower. Okay, I will definitely return it to you after one day. This guy still wants to eat my tofu? Want to blackmail me? Okay. When Daoshan's people catch up, this guy will definitely be dead. Chang Le thought fiercely, especially Lu Yu's little actions before, which made her secretly angry. Seeing this, Lu Yu's expression became more hesitant. Something's wrong. This girl, why is she different from normal people? Is it possible that he was conquered by this genius's personality charm and now he is unwilling to resist? Yes, that makes sense. Lu Yu deeply agreed. Next to him, Kiun came up. Lu Yu, what's going on? It's okay, I've conquered her. The boss is still the boss, I worship you. Kiun has stepped into the role of the younger brother very naturally. Tongling was not to be outdone. The two people's rainbow farts made Lu Yu feel so happy. Beside, Mingzi felt that something was wrong the more she looked at it. Lu Yu, why is Changle alone? Mingzi asked. These words woke Lu Yu up. Yes. Why is there only one person in Changle? Where are you people from the Andromeda Galaxy? Lu Yu looked at Changle. Seeing this, Changle trembled at first, but quickly returned to normal. Have no idea. Have no idea? You're kidding me. Lu Yu laughed at that time. There's something wrong with this girl. What a problem. Are you going to say it or not? Lu Yu didn't know when he came to Chang Le. What will happen if I don't tell you? Chang Le stared at Lu Yu with a pair of beautiful eyes. Don't tell me, Lu Yu suddenly smiled and put his hand on his waistband. I have so many brothers here, and each of them takes a turn for the day. Guess what will happen? Lu Yu pointed proudly at Chi-Yun and the others behind him. When everyone heard this, their eyes immediately lit up. Mingzi had an unexpected expression on her face. Lu Yu, is this kind of person? As expected, Changle's face turned pale instantly. You are shameless. I'm shameless, Lu Yu snorted coldly, with a cruel smile on his lips. If you don't tell me, there are so many of us brothers, and each one of us will take turns guarding you for a day, and we won't give you water to wash your face. When your makeup is gone and your face is covered with oil, I'll see how you can beg me. After the words fell, Lu Yu smiled proudly. Behind Lu Yu, Kiun Tongling and others also laughed proudly. The boss is still the boss, this plan is so clever. Boss is awesome. I want the first round. Changle. Chapter 0350 Bloody Disaster, up to 50%. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 458. Chang Le looked at Lu Yu, as well as Chi-Yun and others behind him, and fell into deep doubts. This group of people, why do they look so wrong? Kiun, he was not like this before. Chang Le gritted his teeth and looked at Lu Yu. I said yes. You are really afraid that your makeup will be smudged? Lu Yu had an expected expression. Changle. She suddenly felt that the guy in front of her was not very reliable. Can you tie your belt first? Changle glanced at Lu Yu's waistband. Lu Yu smiled. Sorry, I can't restrain myself from time to time. With that said, Lu Yu tied up his belt quickly. Okay, let's talk. Lu Yu sat down next to Chang Le. Changle moved to the side. Lu Yu also moved. Chang Le moved again, and Lu Yu continued to move. Changle again. Ah. What's wrong with you? Nail. Tears appeared in Changle's eyes. I saw a nail from when the sedan fell apart suddenly pierced Chang Le's butt. Poor Nail suffered this kind of bloody disaster for no reason. May he be on his best journey. Lu Yu looked in silence. Changle, rage value add 100. Stop talking nonsense, let me tell you what's going on. Changle sat down with an angry look on his face. Lu Yu's expression became serious. Say it. It's simple, I'm being hunted. Being hunted? Lu Yu was stunned. What's the meaning? The Daoga Galaxy and the Hanling Galaxy have cooperated and have massacred several galaxies. They massacred our fairy galaxy before. I escaped by chance and came to you. They should be catching up now. Mentioning these, Changle looked sad. He watched helplessly as the geniuses in his galaxy were killed one by one. In the end, he was able to escape thanks to their delay. Although we are usually competitors, our relationship is not very harmonious. But entering the local galaxy group to compete, after all, you still come out of a galaxy. Their deaths left Changle devastated, especially when they had to face the pursuit of two major galaxies. When he bumped into Lu Yu before, he had already been in a coma because he had been running away for too long. Next to him, Lu Yu looked slightly surprised when he heard Chang Le's words. Are you scared too? Changle smiled miserably. It's normal to be afraid. After all, the two top 10 galaxies are extremely powerful when they join forces. I had never heard of the man in front of me named Lu Yu. He's probably a genius from a small galaxy. Chang Le thought so. But Lu Yu's words stunned her. Kyun, is that Daoga Galaxy, Hanling Galaxy, very strong? Boss, one of them is rank 6th and the other is rank 7th, Kyun answered quickly. When Lu Yu heard this, he yelled. When Changle saw this, his head immediately became dizzy. Have you never heard the names of these two galaxies? I haven't heard of it. I only care about the opponent who takes first place. Lu Yu looked casual. Seeing this, Changle became slightly silent. But she quickly thought of something. Wait, what did Kyun just call him? Boss. Changle instantly thought of the point that he had ignored before. She looked at Kyun in surprise. Kyun, what did you call him? Boss, what's wrong? Kyun looked confused. Changle looked in disbelief when he saw this. You. Chang Le, you are making too much fuss. The boss killed that guy long seen before. Next to him, Tong Ling disdained to make a sound. Seeing this, Chang Le's expression became more horrified. Tong Ling is also called Boss Lu Yu. Lu Yu conquered Kyun and Tong Ling. Moreover, he also killed Long Xing? Is this guy so strong? Changle's eyes were faintly shocked. Seeing this, Lu Yu smiled indifferently and looked up at the sky aloofly at 45 degrees. To be honest, I didn't force them. They chose to be my little brothers. What the boss said is absolutely true. Yes. Choosing the boss to be the boss is the most correct decision I have ever made in my life. Kyun and Tong Ling shouted quickly, completely forgetting the previous scene of Lu Yu pointing a red electric gun at them. Joke. If I hold Lu Yu's thigh now, I might have a chance to advance to the second round. If you don't hug me now, when will you hug me? Face. Sorry, I lost my face when I lost at the beginning. Seeing this, Changle's expression became even more shocked. You know, killing a top genius and conquering a top genius are completely different things. Only the top ones, such as the top 3 geniuses in the local galaxy group, can accept the strongest genius from a certain galaxy as a subordinate. After all, there is a saying that goes well. I would rather be a chicken head than a phoenix tail. Geniuses are all arrogant. The person who can become the strongest genius in a galaxy has only escaped from hundreds of millions of warriors. How can he surrender easily? Not to mention Lu Yu's collection of one, this is 2 collections in a row. Changle would be lying if he said he wasn't surprised. Lu Yu, can you help me stop them? Chang Le said seriously. Are you paying back the money? Lu Yu said seriously. No return. Okay. Lu Yu, will take this order. No one can touch you until you pay back the money. Lu Yu waved his hands, his eyes were like lightning, and his face was cold. Next to him, Chi Yun couldn't help but said. Boss, she won't pay back the money, why are you still helping her? Didn't you understand? She won't pay back the money, she won't pay back the money, she won't pay back the money. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yun Zhong Mu Shui. Chapter 459. Lu Yu repeated it 3 times. Qiyun savored it carefully before he suddenly realized it. Hi. It's really high. Tongling stood beside him. Although he didn't understand, it didn't stop him from shouting along. This is too amazing. Awesome. Ming 11? To be honest, she really didn't understand. Lu Yu didn't explain too much about this. Changle didn't pay back the money, so he would have to pay the price of blood. How long will it take for them to come? Lu Yu asked. 10 minutes at most. Changle responded. He had left those people some distance before, but it didn't help. Some of them have special talents and can track him. Lu Yu nodded after hearing this. Wait. Lu Yu, are you sure? Changle suddenly looked at Lu Yu nervously. To be honest, if Lu Yu was not sure, he didn't want to hurt him. It's better to leave now. Hearing this, Lu Yu fell into deep thought. He looked up at the sky, sighed, and stretched out 5 fingers. At most 50%. A 50% chance of winning? Although it's a bit low, considering the opponent's strong strength, it's okay. Don't worry, I'll be with you. Changle nodded seriously. Seeing this, Lu Yu smiled faintly. No problem. Boss is awesome. Boss is invincible. Beside him, Qiyun and Tongling shouted at the right time. At this moment, a black shadow appeared in the distance. People, here they come. Chapter 0351. Are you impressed by my handsomeness? Sweep everything away. People, here they come. A black shadow appeared in the distance. Lu Yu looked over and saw that 2 of them were walking in the front. One was wearing a black and white Taoist robe, and the other was wearing an ice blue robe. Behind the 2, there were more than 20 geniuses, all of whom had extraordinary auras. The moment these people appeared, everyone became nervous in an instant. And not just here. Sky City. Everyone looked at the scene and their eyes became excited. People from Daogu Galaxy and Hanling Galaxy have arrived. What a good show. This guy named Lu Yu wants to save Changle? I'm afraid it's extremely difficult. More than just ordinary? Almost impossible. Even if he came 5 days ago, he probably wouldn't want to go head to head with the 2 of them. Indeed, the rankings of the 2 are very close to the top 5, and the difference in strength is very small. In the Sky City, Countless people looked at the projection in the sky with excitement. This is definitely a good show. Lu Yu is indeed strong, but this does not mean that he can fight against the two of them together. Unless, his strength can enter the top 3. But how is this possible? The Milky Way has never produced a strong genius before, and it is very difficult to enter the second round, let alone the top 3. In the eyes of most people, Lu Yu's entry into the top 5 may be the limit. And now that he encounters the combination of 2 major galaxies, he may stop here. Saving Chang'e is completely courting death. In the waiting area, the strong men of the 2 galaxies are already looking at him with great interest. His face was full of confident smiles. In the distance, the strong men of the Tianlong galaxy looked extremely pleased. This guy won't live long. Knowing that he will die, he still insisted on saving him. It's really a moving story, the Tianlong Palace Lord said in a weird tone. Beside him, the Palace Lord had a calm expression. But Elder Sun sneered. He, that Long Xing in your galaxy died so miserably. There was no whole body left. The whole army was annihilated. Ha ha ha, what Old Sun said is right. It's really pitiful. He was played to death. Elder Zhang echoed. The two of them talked back and forth, and instantly broke the defense of the Tianlong Palace Lord. You. Silence, the middle-aged man appeared in the sky again at some point, looking at the Tianlong Palace Lord coldly. The Tianlong Palace Lord snorted coldly, clenched his fist and suppressed the boiling breath on his body. The entire waiting area was quiet because of the appearance of this galaxy envoy. The middle-aged man looked up at the sky. Looking at the 2 teams in the picture, his eyes were somewhat helpless. Your Excellency knows that this is completely inconsistent with the rules of the game, why do you still acquiesce? Secret Realm. Chang'e stood beside Lu Yu. Lu Yu, this is it? This is it? Lu Yu looked at the 2. On the opposite side, the 2 also looked at Lu Yu. Chang'e, is this your calculation? Daoshan, wearing a black and white robe, had a smile on his face. Beside him, Lanya also smiled. Are you going to let this guy stop us? He doesn't look familiar. When Lanya said this, his tone was very contemptuous. He didn't look familiar. This guy was not among the top 10 geniuses at all. He was not among the top 10 geniuses, but he dared to stop the 2 of them. Crazy. If you ask me, some people always have unrealistic fantasies of heroes saving beauties. Daoshan sneered. This made Lanya and many geniuses behind him laugh. It was really funny. They didn't know Lu Yu, so he was definitely not among the top 10. And how dare someone who wasn't among the top 10 stop them? I'm afraid he is really dreaming of being a hero saving a beautiful girl. This is not only the case in the secret realm, but also outside, in the Sky City, many people who saw the scene couldn't help but shake their heads. Lu Yu is too confident. Global High Martial Arts, copy SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Yunzhong Mu Shui. Chapter 460. Confidence can kill itself. If you can't help it, just wait and see the result. City in the sky, I don't know how many people are talking about it. At the scene, the contempt of Daoshan and others did not change Lu Yu's expression. Instead, Chang'e immediately gritted his teeth. These bastards really deserve to die. Her body was trembling slightly, and she was obviously extremely angry. However, Lu Yu's hand gently patted her shoulder. I told you, no one can touch you until you pay back the money, Lu Yu said calmly. When Chang'e heard this, he couldn't help but look back. To be honest, looking at Lu Yu's profile, she felt a little dazed at this moment. This. How about it? Are you impressed by my handsomeness? Lu Yu had a serious look on his face. Chang'e. I'm just curious, how do you manage to be so confident? How do you become so confident? Lu Yu smiled lightly when he heard this. Because I know that I am destined to overthrow everything, rise up in the sky and conquer everything. As soon as Lu Yu said these words, Chang Li was shocked. To be honest, she has seen a lot of geniuses who claim to be invincible. But I have never seen anyone as confident as Lu Yu. It seems that they have no idea that there are people outside the world and there is a sky outside the world. He is so arrogant that people have to look at him with suspicion. Next to him, Qi-yun could no longer hold himself back. It is said that invincibility comes from inner self-confidence. Boss, I feel like I am going to witness the rise of an invincible. Damn it! My admiration for the boss is as endless as a torrential river. Qi-yun, every word you say to me, no one is left behind. Mingzi also smiled happily. Lu Yu is the best. Across the way, it was quiet. Daoshin's expression became quite impatient. He had a sneer on his face. Were the fights already started and there was already business talk? Many losers I've seen like this. Lanya also looked contemptuously. Some people just praise it with a few words and really think they are a figure. Behind them, dozens of people were also shouting. In this regard, Lu Yu's expression could be described as calm. You are right, no matter how much you say, it will not be as good as your real skills. Lu Yu sighed. Daoshin laughed immediately, and his whole body breath was exuding. Boom! Instantly, a terrifying coercion spread out from him. Tongxian 9th level. And the aura is far better than the ordinary 9th level Tongxian. A genius who breaks the limits, and the limits are definitely very high. The same is true for Lanya, his aura is terrifying to the extreme. When Qi-yun and others saw this, their faces instantly turned pale. They knew in their hearts that the gap between them and Daoshin, a top 10 genius, was almost like the gap between ordinary geniuses and others like themselves. Like a chasm. Next to Lu Yu, Chang Li also released his aura instantly. Lu Yu, one for each of us. Changle looked coldly. Lu Yu shook his head. No need, just give me a shot. I don't feel happy. If you want to fight, just fight a pair. Changle. She looked at Lu Yu, who had an indifferent expression, and wanted to say something. The situation is so critical now, can we be normal? Stop pretending to be an expert. You said you are only 50% sure. Chapter 0352, 2 moves to kill, can be destroyed with a snap of the fingers. Changle was anxious. On the opposite side, Daoshin was already laughing. You guys, are you crazy if you want to pretend to be crazy? His eyes were full of amusement. We are all men, so I understand Lu Yu's mentality very well. Don't you just want to show off in front of beautiful women and attract attention? That's it? Fake it or not, you two can try it together, and you'll know, right? When Lu Yu heard this, he didn't even bother to explain anything. Seeing this, Daoshin narrowed his eyes and said coldly. Okay. Okay, I'll satisfy you. Daoshin laughed. Lanya's expression was extremely contemptuous. This kind of guy who forgets who he is because of a woman can also enter the local galaxy group to compete? I'm afraid there's no one left in their galaxy. The auras of both of them have been raised to the extreme. And Lu Yu also took one step forward. Behind, Changle was very nervous. Lu Yu, if you can't do it, just say it and don't show off. Men, never say no. Lu Yu shook his head. Mingzi stretched out her hand to cheer Lu Yu up. Lu Yu, come on. Kill them. Boss is awesome. Boss is mighty. Haha, it's just Tian Lanyi, my boss is holding you down with one hand. Qiyun and Tongling started again. Changle watched from the side, his eyes a little confused. These guys, why are they so confident in Lu Yu? In fact, what she didn't know was that after witnessing Lu Yu making the impossible possible many times, Everyone I know has a firm confidence in Lu Yu. Outside world. Everyone looked at the three people who were ready to go and held their breath. A battle between geniuses is basically between a few moves. Unless they are particularly close in strength, they won't be able to pass a few moves at all. Now, it's time to decide the outcome. I don't know how many people forgot all about Lu Yu and Dao Tianlan yet. In the Sky City, even pedestrians on the street couldn't help but stop and watch.